Yo guys, it's me Matrix here, bringing you a post-commentary of my first week of the VDL Season 4. This week I have faced off against Toots and the Suffolk Suicunes. Today I'm joined by Masenko,
Hello.
and we'll basically just be going over the match and just talking through my plays and what the opponent does and stuff as we go along. Just trying something different for the VDL lot this season, so hopefully this works out okay, and we'll cut to it.
So, I think it's rolling.
Yeah, looks like it.
And the media's sources working all right. Okay. Oh dear.
So, why don't you talk about your team a little bit, just to
Yes.
what's your strategy going into?
So, I didn't really have an overall strategy. I kind of knew that he'd be bringing. So the team that Toots has brought is basically akin to what I thought he would bring. I did think he wouldn't bring the Vulpix. I thought it was going to be like Rillaboom G-Max, which is why I put the Rindo Berry on Trachean, just in case. Focus Sash on Weavile, just some standard stuff. Expert Belt, Rapidash. That was just to get a little bit more damage, which would be enough damage to do a lot of work. Like I think I've got a Smart Strike on it for like Aerodactyl, Gardevoir, and stuff like that. Some Flare Blitz for like Scizor. Sableye rocking the Roselli Berry. It's got stuff like Quash, Sunny Day. So here I'm thinking, okay, I just want to try my set, which is Sableye Sunny Day with Chlorophyll Shiftry, because I'm thinking maybe he leads Aerodactyl, sets up a Tailwind, and I know that I can Oko a Aerodactyl on a lead with a Max Overgrowth Shiftry.
Okay.
Safe for Focus Sash. So I'm thinking we'll see how it goes. We'll see type thing. I was thinking, so I was expecting maybe Aerodactyl lead here with Kangaskhan. Maybe the Gardevoir would come up, but I wasn't 100% sure.
I see he also brought Vulpix Alola, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah. So I also wasn't 100% sure if he was going to do some screen stuff to just set up some screens to begin with.
Yeah, because he can probably, he sees that Shiftry, he can probably try to deny Sun if he can. Even if he can't stop it from happening with the Prankster setup, you can at least switch in on the second turn. Maybe you can't get hit from Shiftry.
Okay.
So this is pretty bad for you.
Yes, it's awful, and honestly, I just overlooked it when I was looking at it here. So you can see me just going for the Sunny Day. There's not really much else I could do here, and I go for Solar Blade. I shouldn't have. I knew here I couldn't max Shiftry because I didn't have any coverage for the Gardevoir, and it's only as I clicked, as you'll see, I clicked the Solar Blade, and I think, oh no, it's got Scrappy Fake Out here. Scrappy Fake Out. Gardevoir's going to be faster than my Shiftry because I'm not invested enough to outspeed anything.
Yeah, and Kangaskhan outspeeds both of your Mons anyway, so
yeah,
Fake Out always hit your Sableye, even if the Sableye was going to Fake Out as well.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So yeah,
Flinched it.
I don't imagine. Oh well, if he's buried, then he might put this. But
yeah.
Okay, but Shiftry certainly doesn't.
No, Shiftry really did not. I think if Gardevoir wasn't Life Orb, Shiftry had a chance of living, but it was. So then I'm like, okay.
Well, this team gets absolutely dumped on by the Gardevoir, right? I think you brought all four to it, so...
Yeah, I think this is a major problem with my team, to be honest. I think I'm going to have to really rework my draft team. I've got a lot of mons that are weak to Fairy, so this Gardevoir was well set this week. I did consider bringing Magneton.
I think maybe can you quash a Maxmon? I think you can.
Yes,
right?
yes, you can.
I think maybe you should have quashed Gardevoir here.
What did I do?
I think you quashed Kanga, right?
Yes. I think the reason why I quashed Kanga is in case it was using Sucker Punch to break my multi-scale before I could max scale spike the Gardevoir.
I still think that maybe, I don't know, you probably don't Oko it. It depends on the investment of the Gardevoir, but if they do both max, you could at least get a good chunk off on it before Sableye inevitably dies this turn. because your Sableye is going to just get killed. I think.
Yeah, but then they use Protect in the Gardevoir, which made me feel, okay, at least I didn't go for the Quash into the Gardevoir, so it was on a wasted Quash.
Yeah. I mean, doesn't Dragonite outspeed the Kanga though?
No, I'm invested if I'm doing one. And I even fully invested in max speed 145 and max speed Kanga 156. So yeah.
What's Dragonite's base speed? 90?
I think it's 80.
Okay, 80. Yeah. Because I know Kanga.
Ice Punch on Kangaskhan.
Well, at least I didn't get the freeze.
Oh yeah, the RNG was pretty good. So I go for the Will-O-Wisp and Kanga.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense.
He's in a position here where he could match the Kanga, so
I might have. How much investment does your Sableye have into like attack right now? None.
It's pretty low.
Maybe a Sucker Punch could have done something there to the Gardevoir potentially, because it's probably gonna max here.
Yeah. The funny thing of it is that I didn't learn until later on in the match. Gardevoir is actually pretty bulky.
Yeah. I mean that makes sense. If you're bringing Gardevoir,
I just realized I had the volume too loud, and the game volume, you might not be able to hear us for the start.
That's okay. Yeah, I think the Gardevoir in general is a really good bring, obviously against you. So
yeah.
Oh damn, that's a pretty cool combo. Even if it doesn't hit the Dragonite, the Earthquake is kind of cool.
Yeah.
So, and it doesn't max here. Okay.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. I guess you take the kill here on it, right?
Yeah.
And it's gonna be a question of what they have in the back.
Yeah.
As long as they...
Sorry.
No, go for it.
So based on how that turn went, I kind of wish I had gone for the Quash on the Gardevoir, because if I'd gone for the Quash on the Gardevoir, Dragonite would have KO'd it before it got to move, which means I wouldn't have taken as much damage. And Sableye wouldn't have gone down. Like, I was expecting like another Ice Punch off Kangaskhan or a Max Hailstorm off Kangaskhan, because if he was in a good position to max the Kanga if he wanted to there.
Yeah. And it looked like it probably wouldn't have killed you with the Earthquake.
Yeah, it wasn't KOing Sableye.
Even if it wasn't burned. So, I mean, that's obviously a calc you don't really know. Like, obviously, I feel like Kanga could probably have killed Sableye with anything there, except Earthquake.
So I go for the Rock Slide, and I think I go for a Max Steel Spike into Aerodactyl just to get rid of it.
What do you have on your Dragonite again, in terms of item?
Oh, Assault Vest.
Assault Vest, yeah.
It was for the Gardevoir.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think obviously they're maxing Aerodactyl here.
Yeah, no, they don't. They don't. You'll see.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, wait for it. So I still don't know what their fourth mon is in the back. So I thought they might be going for a Tailwind here, but they go for a Protect, and I'm like, okay, this is weird. Gone for a Protect here. Earthquake is slightly strange again.
Interesting.
And that's where I go, oh, I should have put more speed investment in the Terrakion. I thought I was 1 point faster than Terrakion, than Kangaskhan with Terrakion. I was 1 point slower than a max Jolly speed Kangaskhan.
Interesting. So it looks like eject. Really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well at least you know that it has eject button now, right?
Yeah.
So you could do some interesting stuff with like Sucker Punch next game potentially, or
so I Steel Spike into the Aerodactyl. It's alright damage.
Yeah, especially through Protect, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
And I think in general...
Wait for it.
Oh? Weakness policy.
Yeah.
God.
And now my max has run out because he managed to stall out my max pretty well. He actually, to give Toots credit, he played really well this first game. I played really badly, to be honest. And I'm just like, I so wish I hadn't removed Fire Punch off Dragonite.
Yeah. I see how this guy had pretty good prep against you, obviously. It looked like.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's pretty cool. I still think Yeah, I don't know. I think with the team you brought, you probably couldn't beat this right now. But I also think probably, like you mentioned, you under prepped, right? Um, like you're making simple mistakes, like accidentally putting one less point in your Terrakion than there.
Yeah, I was actually
Like
just enough speed to outspeed a Rillaboom. Like the 150 base stat. I think there was like 2 mons with like 150. So I just put enough to outspeed Rillaboom, and
mhm.
this was the only critical hit I think that just got on the Dragonite.
I honestly don't think it would have
It would have made no
mattered.
difference. Like it was,
Yeah,
I think I was +3 defense, and he was like +2 attack with an ice move. It
yeah.
made no
And
difference.
it's Aerodactyl too, who has like what 130 base power and
Yeah,
attack or something
it
like that.
actually makes sense looking back at it. Like Aerodactyl has a wide amount of coverage, and it's like, ooh, yeah. Especially like I was expecting more of a support Aerodactyl.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Aerodactyl is just a pretty strong
Bullet
Pokemon in
Punch just
general.
takes up the KO there. I imagine the Sizzle's choice banded
That also makes sense.
because I'm at +1 defense there with Terrakion, and Terrakion's not got the highest defense in the game, but it's like decent enough that I should be able to take a Bullet Punch.
Technician,
So
Technician choice band bullet
yeah,
punch that
so
would do it probably.
I think the choice band. I think that's where I think it's choice band, which makes sense. If you bring Sizzle, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be a choice banded.
Okay. Well, okay. So I think some obvious adjustments, right?
Yes, definitely. So this is when I went, all right, Shiftry, you're being shifted onto the bench. You are not coming to this match because there is nothing you can do. Because
Yeah.
if he wants to lead that same lead again, I can't bring Shiftry, even if it's in the back for the Sizzle. I'm thinking, nah. Honestly, I'm better off just bringing Rapidash.
Yeah.
So
Even though the Aerodactyl's rock type, the Rapidash is a little better here, I'd say.
yeah, it
Than
is.
typically.
Um,
This is
so
tough though, because 5 out of 6 Pokemon you brought died of Fairy.
yes, did you know 6 out of my 11 mons on my team are weak to fairy?
Yeah, it doesn't seem
So
so good
I
personally.
possibly could have. So I bring Terrakion and Weavile up front just to see what I can do. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of forgot I didn't have Fake Out on Weavile.
I
Uh,
think you should have brought Sableye here because, like, if you're not outspeeding everything, you do need that quash, right? You need to like, you can probably kill Gardevoir or Aerodactyl if you quash it,
yeah.
and I think yeah, like I think you basically just die here by not bringing Sableye most of the time.
So I went in and I was thinking, okay, I know this. I remember doing this, but I was thinking, no, okay, I know I'm not bringing Sableye. This might be a mistake, but I wanted to. I knew he was going to be bringing Kanga for the fake out onto me, so there's no point leading the Sableye. I knew if I led the Weavile Terrakion, he's going to be faking out my Weavile. Because unfortunately, I don't have Sneasel, do I? Sneasel would have been a better mod. Inner focus, man. So he leads the same lead again, as I expected.
Yeah, I do like the Weavile here. I think maybe you could have, instead of Terrakion, brought the Sableye and just tried to set up the Dragonite to carry again, potentially.
Hmm.
That's just me, but I think Terrakion's okay, too. Because I think, like, if you're looking at this lead, I think Gardevoir probably kills it.
So I switch out into Rapidash here, thinking I know not got loads of special. I don't have any special defense investment, but it is a fire type. It should resist the fairy type move, if anything.
Yeah, I think
Weavile was
they're
going to
going.
get faked out, and it was going to be if it get hit by the fairy
Oh,
move,
you
then it was
don't.
just one shot.
Oh yeah, you don't get inner focus, right?
Exactly.
You get what is
Pickpocket.
his pickpocket?
I have pickpocket on it. It gets pressure, but I have pickpocket because I'm focus sash, so I might as well.
I like pickpocket.
Because you never know what might happen.
Okay, so Max Gardevoir's here. Like, I think this is what I was expecting game one, but
yeah, I was a little bit more expecting Max Gardevoir. No worries.
Excuse me.
So
a little bit of allergies.
no worries. So yeah, fakes out into Rapidash. I protected with Terrakion just in case he did go for the fake out Terrakion as well.
Man, Kanga's stab fake outs do like so much chunk.
Yeah, it's doing a lot.
And that does a lot through that, and now you can't Will-O-Wisp anything.
Correct.
So
I don't have Wisp on Rapidash though. I have Charm.
that's better in general, but yikes. Yeah.
So yeah. I know Kanga's item at this point. This is one of the scenarios where I wished Terrakion was faster than Kangaskhan.
Yeah.
Because that hurt. That hurt a lot. But I managed to KO the Kangaskhan because I know it's not got the Chople Berry.
Yeah. Because you know it's the eject pack.
The eject button, yeah.
That's so interesting. I really like that strategy. Smart strike.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, the Smart Strike did a lot. I was like, oh, it's done decent. But for an expert belt, Smart Strike onto a Gardevoir, that was like doing not near enough damage as what I expected.
Yeah, and you're about to be outsped by whatever he brings in here. So...
Yeah, I'm sat here going, he's definitely bringing Aerodactyl in, 100%.
Yeah.
Like, that's the only mon here that will outspeed my Rapidash. Other than maybe Bullet Punch Scizor, but does he want to risk that, you know?
Yeah, so I think Dragonite is probably a good switch here. Or you could go Weavile. You can go Weavile, honestly, though, because you might just stall out the max here.
Yeah, that's what my plan is here. I'm thinking, I start looking through, I just start checking back through my notes going, all right, what's the speed of Kangaskhan again?
It should be 90, I think.
Yeah, and just making sure, like, checking my speeds again, which is why I go, okay, let's quickly get back in here. Let's bring in Weavile. Try and stall out max a little bit.
If you set up an Icy Wind and like slowed this Aerodactyl slightly, I think your Dragonite could potentially outspeed. I don't know how much, like what you said, you didn't have any investment, but
yeah, so that's the exact idea I went for. I know my Weavile can't outspeed an Aerodactyl, but I've also got to think now, well, Icy Wind's going to be super effective against it, so it's going to do the, what's it called? Weakness policy boost. So I'm like, great. So I just go for a triple axle straight into Aerodactyl. Because I'm sashed, I'm thinking he's got to take out one or the other. I don't know.
Yeah,
Icy Wind may have been a good play, but I don't think it was the. Yeah, you'll see.
I honestly think like oh well, if he protects, it didn't matter that much anyway. I do think that Icy Wind would have been better just because even if you proc the weakness policy, just being able to have speed advantage over it with the Dragonite potentially. Is more valuable, and you know you live because the Weavile has Sash, right? So you can even get a second one off potentially the next turn. So I think that probably would have been better in my opinion, but
yeah,
but he protected, so it's.
So do you know what's really annoying here is that I'm thinking, okay, well, Aerodactyl clearly goes for a rock slide here.
Yeah.
Picks up both the KOs before I can move. So I go for an Icy Wind. I go for a Charm onto Aerodactyl as well, just off the off chance that it misses or something, you know? Maybe it would have been better going for the Gardevoir as well, but I'm thinking if I reduce its speed anyway, and I'm thinking Gardevoir is probably going to protect. So there's no point targeting the Gardevoir with a Smart Strike, because he's probably just going to protect Gardevoir here.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So
you made that call correctly, looks like.
And then I move before the Aerodactyl. So I'm like, Weavile's faster than Aerodactyl here. Turns out he brought Adamant Aerodactyl over Jolly.
So your max speed, that's really good.
But then it makes me regret not just targeting it with a Smart Strike, because it probably would have picked up the KO.
Yeah.
So I go for a Charm.
Maybe. I think regardless, I don't know if it would have died to Smart Strike, honestly, but it could have been close. I don't know how much you might have had full investment into attack with the Rapidash, yeah?
Yeah, it's full 252 plus.
Okay, so
Dragonite versus the world.
Well, you got the speed drop. So you should outspeed.
I don't think I do. I can't remember. I'll have to see what it is.
I do think you go into Gardevoir here personally, just because.
That's what I did.
Even though Aerodactyl gets what? Does it get ice moves?
It gets Ice Fang.
Ice Fang, yeah. Even if it gets the Ice Fang, I still think You know what? Maybe. Oh well, the withdraw there is.
He withdrew
good for-
it, yeah, which made me feel like, okay, I'm glad I didn't go for the steel spike into Sizzle, because that would have been resisted.
Yeah. I think. And if he's choice banded on the Scizor, he's probably just going to start bullet punching you over and over, and the steel spike's going to help with that. But what he's doing there is he's obviously resetting the speed drop that the Aerodactyl had.
Yeah.
So that he could actually hit you with the ice punch. But the issue with that strategy, well, you know, oh wow, the Gardevoir outspeeds you.
Yeah, I was pretty slow with
Weird.
Dragonite. Max attack, max bulk, AV.
It sucks. It sucks big time.
Yeah.
Even with the speed drop.
No, it never got the speed drop because it protected.
I thought I got hit the second time, but maybe I'm just.
I didn't. I only used Icy Wind
Oh,
for the second turn.
That's what I was saying. Oh, you know what? I was thinking like if you had Icy Winded turn 1, then
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking, and that's why.
It was unfortunate I didn't do that, to be honest.
Yeah, I just think at that point you spam Icy Wind because you need to get this. You need to get speed advantage for your guy.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, he's got 2 mons, full health. What the hell do I do? I'm only +1.
Max Airstream might have been the play there too, into the Gardevoir instead of the Steel Spike potentially.
Yeah, but it puts me to about 151, and if that Aerodactyl's, even if it's max speed Jolly, it's 170.
Mm-hmm.
So it was always going to outspeed me. I had to double check
At that point, you did know that the Aerodactyl was slow, was not Jolly, right?
Exactly. Well, no, at this point I did know because I'd seen the Weave outspeed.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah.
So you known that he was Jolly. Okay. Well, this actually looks pretty good for you, right?
Yeah. So I managed to pick up. Yeah, I do manage to win this one.
Oh, okay, okay.
Only just, and you'll see why. Like, it was close. It was a close set. Managed to get the Steel Spike, and this is my 3rd turn of max, and I'm thinking, okay, Sizzle, okay. Reduce the attack of Sizzle with the maximum amount of damage I can do to it, which is a max Wormrind, because it's stab.
Yes, stab, and it also drops his attack, which is nice.
Yes, exactly. And I know he's going to be bullet punching me here, but I'm at +2 defense. Choice banded.
Yeah, you obviously know he's choice banded at this point. It's doing so much damage.
To a +2 Dragonite, yeah.
Yeah.
And a Wormrind. And it was at this point I was like, I wish that Earthquake wasn't an Earthquake, it was a Fire Punch.
Yeah. That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
But, I think in general, just like the prep on your end, like seems like you could have put more time into it.
100%.
It's okay. I mean, that does
so much for a -1 against a +3, +2.
This is the first week for you.
Yes.
I think, right? So, just like you obviously saw a very obvious weakness with your team, which is a good thing. Like you saw like the fairy weakness, which maybe you should have seen while drafting, but.
Oh, I saw it whilst drafting. I just went, ignore it.
Who has fairy types anyway?
Yeah. My week 1 opponent.
Right, and literally every team should have a fairy type. Right?
They should.
Every team should have fantasy and core and the water fire grass.
Although my fairy type is Morlul, not Morlul, Shinotic, so you know.
Might as well be a Morlul.
Yeah. So definitely going to be looking for some trades this week.
I really like the alchemy, like I mentioned, for you potentially.
Possibly, we might have to talk about this after the video, just to quickly.
No spoilers.
Exactly. So going into game 3, I'm thinking, right, there's no way he doesn't lead that same lead again, and I need to make him choose. So I'm thinking Rapidash Terrakion is a good lead. It might not have been the best lead, but I'm thinking Rapidash Terrakion makes him choose which one does he want to target. He has to fake out one and hit one. You can't do both.
Yeah, I still think the Terrakion here should be a Weavile or a Sableye instead. Or, sorry, a Weavile instead, right? Because you are bringing Sableye, it looks like. Yeah. I just think that right now, your Terrakion isn't doing much. It can kill the Kangaskhan, but so can your Sableye, right? Your Sableye can just switch it out with the eject button.
Yeah, that's true.
So like that wastes his turn. Um, so it's essentially it's like equivalent to getting a KO in a sense. And you really need that speed control, right? The only thing that's offering you speed control now that you know that your Weavile is faster, you get that Icy Wind, and you need that Quash, right? And so I think I think in general, another option here is like max Rapidash potentially.
You know what? This is exactly what I was thinking. And during the sets, I started doing some calcs to just double check based on how much damage it was doing. And it was never going to be doing enough damage to Gardevoir that merited it to be max, especially when an Aerodactyl could be coming in the back that's faster.
Yeah.
That was always my issue.
I just also think that like that's okay if you get the defense rolling. Like Bullet Punch isn't going to do much to it, right? Aerodactyl can, but like once again, you can, if you bring the Quash, you can always hit it with you know, Steel Spike still, or just Smart Strike or whatever. And then you also have the Fire for Scizor.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I feel like that might have been worth it. I don't think they should max Gardevoir here, personally.
I was unsure what they would do. I was thinking, will they actually max Gardevoir here? Because it didn't work for in the last game, and then they maxed it. I went, okay, maybe they do that. So, as I say, he had to force a Fake Out onto 1, so he sees Rapidash as the threat, which is, again, possibly why I should have gone for these max Rapidash, because it wouldn't have made a difference that turn.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I think I do think that maxing Rapidash here would have been nice, and especially since like that's why I wouldn't have maxed Gardevoir there. I think he did make a pretty big mistake in this in this first part here. You didn't obviously capitalize on it because I think maybe you're not so confident with your team right now, but
oh, I have no confidence with my team. But I did think Rapidash could have a chance to max here, and I kind of wish I'd gone for it, because that should have left my Rapidash around half health. Max Steel Spike would have boosted offset my Terrakions speed drop.
Yeah, and you know that I think it's reasonable to assume he goes into the Terrakion here with the Gardevoir instead of the Rapidash. But I do think I think he did correctly choose who to target. And the reason is because he knows, just like I was saying before, your Rapidash does seem to pose a pretty big threat to his team.
So in the end, this turn, I decide, what's Aerodactyl going to do here? I'm not 100% sure. Maybe it's going to cover in case he thinks I have a Steel-type move on Aerodactyl, so I go for I just double up into the Gardevoir, knowing that I'm outspeeding both.
Ooh, Rapidash gets,
huge miss. Huge miss.
Insanely good for you.
Yeah.
I like it.
Exozilla does hardly anything, and I'm thinking, yeah, this is definitely bulky Gardevoir.
Yeah. Yeah, I do think that Gardevoir would have had to max guard turn 2 right there if you had gone into it with a max Steel Spike. And your Rapidash would have been a little bit better off. Yeah, and then you could have targeted the Aerodactyl here.
So
for sure,
this is what's kind of annoying. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of had a blip in my mind. I was like, what? So it's Unnerve Aerodactyl, isn't it, against my Roselli Berry Sableye? So I go, okay, I quash Aerodactyl here. What's it gonna do? I always get a chance to hit this Gardevoir now.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't do enough damage. Which is why if I had been a max Rapidash start, Gardevoir would have been down. I could have brought Sableye in, quashed the Aerodactyl, KO'd it with Rapidash, you know?
Yeah, I think that would have been best. But no berry for you, and that's a dead Sableye.
Yeah, I think it should have lived that, if not. It was especially bulky.
I do think so as well.
That Gardevoir comes so close, and then clutch lift.
This Rapidash is juking the Aerodactyl.
Yeah, so it's a max Dragonite game. I mean,
let me just say this: if you had max Rapidash there and those misses had still gone through, you would have won this game 100%.
Yeah, it would have been an easier win for sure than it nearly became.
Because what they had Kinga. I'm assuming they still brought Scizor in the back, right?
Yes, so
So-
you'll see in a minute that thingy comes in. I think, what do I do here? Did I go for a max Steel Spike and a Smart Strike into Aerodactyl? Kind of wish I'd targeted the Gardevoir. What I should have done here is, I was debating it. Should I Flare Blitz into Gardevoir to cover for the switch? But then if it's not Scizor in the back, it could be
I don't think
Chandelure.
they ever switch. I don't think they ever switch Gardevoir in this situation. I think they sack it for sure.
See, that's what I was thinking. Plus, I was thinking, well, if it gets a Dazzling Gleam off, then it dies to Life Orb anyway.
Yeah, I think in this position you were right to target the Aerodactyl personally.
Yeah.
But the issue is that the Rapidash. The Rapidash is just so low, and it just double protects here. Okay, just wasted turn max basically. I think that's.
I think it was smart.
Okay for you. If you could have predicted that, a max airstream would have been good.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I should have. If I was able to predict a double protect there, which in my opinion I don't think I should have, because he was on the offensive position, he could have easily have KO'd my Rapidash and done some damage to my Dragonite there.
Yeah, I also.
But
yeah, a double protect does kind of make sense, but I don't think it really benefited him here that much.
Other than me hitting the Gardevoir through the protect and KOing it.
Yeah, because you could have done that anyway, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, I think for Gardevoir, you just. I honestly think you just double. You just like Rock Slide plus Dazzling Gleam here. Hope for. I don't know. Maybe I don't know what the Aerodactyl. He has weakness policy, right? So,
yeah.
You know what? The protect makes sense for the Aerodactyl.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Just because he's gonna Steel Spike into it, but
I suppose the protect on Gardevoir made sense if he was protected on the Aerodactyl because of the. But yeah. I could have KO'd before he moved, you know.
Yeah, and I think he was wrong not to just Dazzling Gleam there. Even though he gets killed by his own Life Orb there, you still break multi-scale. Also gets a crit.
Oh yeah, so this is a crit for a +1 defense Dragonite.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
That was a little bit. In my opinion, it kind of mattered a little bit, but I did get 2 misses on the Rock Slides earlier. But as you saw, none of it really mattered because the Rapidash was just on the field, but he protected every turn the Rapidash was on the field. After that.
Yeah. What was on your Rapidash? You had Smart Strike, you had
Charm, Flare Blitz, and Play Rough, just for a potential Guzzlord that he had.
I think Protect could have really benefited.
Protect would have been better.
So that's something to keep in mind for future weeks. I think, like, just in general, you have frail Mons who are threatening. Like, Protect is usually pretty good.
So this is where I think if I wasn't crit, I think I would have been closing out the game a little bit closer. Because again, I'm a +2 Dragonite again, so it's similar to how we ended game 2. Only Gardevoir now is able to attack my Dragonite, but I don't. Outspeeds, but I wouldn't target the Gardevoir anyway, you know, because it's going to die to Life Orb.
I mean, I think if you had max airstreamed at some point, like that first turn, like you could have definitely.
That doesn't really do a lot of damage.
Because I think the Scizor is not going to be doing as much damage. You have the +2.
Yeah.
On the Dragonite.
That's true. If I'd gone for the airstream at some point, I think if I'd gone for that airstream on the Gardevoir when it protected, I think that was the play. Because I would have guaranteed the KO on the Gardevoir. I'd be fast. The Aerodactyl would have to do as it did, which was crit. And yeah, I think that was where I misplayed this game.
Yeah, it's all about the speed control, right? And I think that you didn't respect your low speed enough going into this. I think, like, once again, Weavile would have been solid instead of Terrakion. Like, even though Terrakion kills the Kangaskhan, you can just, like, Kangaskhan gets what? He gets the fake out. What else did he get that game? Did you see him do anything else? He got Earthquake, right?
He had Earthquake, Ice Punch, Fake Out, and Undisclosed Move.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, so hold my hands up. I accidentally we've just been spent the last 10 minutes talking about the ending of that match, and I forgot to record audio. So we'll just quickly wrap up a little bit to some closing thoughts
Yeah.
about the match. I think the biggest issue for my game plan this week was that I just not so much the game plan, even my execution was not imposing enough speed control when needed, and yeah,
Yeah, so I mean, I think we reached a couple conclusions during our like unrecorded discussion, which is a obviously the prep could have been a little bit better on your end, but when it
definitely.
comes down to it in the games, I thought that Sableye and Weavile were sort of your saving graces in terms of um, like maintaining the speed control that you needed to. Um, so that's a little unfortunate, obviously, that couldn't work out the way it did.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, so I think being able to make sure that your Dragonite could outspeed the opponent was like sort of like the key thing that you should have been focusing on there.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Um, and aside from that, I have a very exploitable weakness that my opponents will be looking at. So I will be definitely looking to make some trades in the next week.
Yeah, I mean that's okay though.
Oh yeah,
You know
that's why trades exist.
exactly.
Try out what's good on your team, and then find out your flaws and try and change it to make your team a stronger team. Said
Yeah,
team a lot then.
Um,
So
cool. Yeah, I think that this was a very interesting first game. Obviously,
and honestly, well done to Tuts. He out prepped me, outplayed me. Um, that game three wouldn't even have been as close as it was if not for the double rock slide miss on my Rapidash. So
yeah,
it
that
was
was
only fair that I got crit, to be honest.
yeah. So well, good showing. I think you learned some things, and he certainly has some stuff to learn from that game as well. So
Yeah, and I'm just glad overall that I could at least give Tuts a good match. He definitely seemed to enjoy it when we were talking afterwards. So that's all I can ask for, to be honest. As long as my opponent had a good match, honestly, I don't mind what happened.
yeah, that's
So
usually the everyone's here to have fun. So
yeah, exactly. So with that out of the way, I'll catch you guys next time, either on the UGA or the VDL week two. That's
see you
bye
guys.
from me. See you, Masenko. Thanks for coming.
Yeah.